fired up.
4th down and goal from the 9. 17 seconds to go. The play clock at 3. Shotgun snap. Carr throws into traffic. Intercepted. Jermaine Pratt has the football.
Yeah.
Coffin nails.
Bam, bam, bam. How about that? It ends on a turnover.
Joe Burrow takes the snap. He takes a knee. And after 31 years, the drought is over. It is no fluke. It is a fact. The Cincinnati Bengals are headed to Super Bowl 56.
Welcome back. Does that sound clean on the new mic?
Man, it sounds pretty good on the new mic.
Yeah?
Yeah. No, I like it. Yeah.
So it is another episode of Pardon the Punctuation. As you can see, we are missing our third partner in crime, who's actually taking care of something
Crime.
like that. Something like that.
Something like that.
But as always, I am Aaron Smith, joined by Ed Mayhall, the co-founder of this little thing we call Pardon the Punctuation. I want to get started because I was listening to that intro, and I'm just thinking to myself, 2 of the 3 people in that intro I got to talk to on
you were talking about that
on Friday. I got to talk to both of them on Friday. So you got to take in as much as you could of Subathon that Chad and I hosted on Friday.
Yeah.
What was that like as a fan? Because I know what it was like sitting in the passenger seat. But what was it like in the back seat, like as a fan, just kind of watching this whole thing take place?
Well, I have to say I was excited like all week because, normally during the week I listen to Pat McAfee show and, live from noon to 3:30, something like that, whatever he decides to stop. And he was off all week.
Right. He was on vacation.
He was on vacation. So all week I'm like, dang, I got nothing to listen to at my desk. Like, this is boring. I usually have something going on the little screen.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, man, I can't wait till Friday. These guys are going to be live. This is going to be fun. I wasn't sure of the guests. Like, I knew you guys were going to have Luke, and I knew you were going to have. I think you had already said you're going to have Kashmir. I think Wes was a last minute ad after the game. The other night.
we had to wait and see if they won or not.
Yeah, and I knew you guys were going to have some of the some of the other guys. I'm like, man, this would be fun. And then I also got excited because I've never. I've heard about these subathons that people do on Twitch and YouTube and all that kind of stuff. And, I've always wanted to check one out, but never got to. So this was you guys doing it. And then you sent me a link to join in. So I was even more excited, but that's besides the point. But it was actually really entertaining. Like, I was wondering how you guys were going to do that, with all that time to kill. And, at the time, when we talked last Tuesday, I think you guys only had like 4, maybe 5 people lined up. And 12 hours with only 5 people, that means you have another 7 hours you have to figure out.
Well, and we went 15.
We went, we did go 15. But just right off the bat, right? You guys shot it off with Dan Horde. Dan Horde's always a good interview.
Mm-hmm.
Then right after Dan was
Mo.
Mm-hmm. And of course, Mo's always hilarious. And then you came out with Luke on the beach with the palm trees in the background and Brady yelling at the top of his lungs because he was probably dominating somebody in some sport or saw somebody run really fast.
I think he was doing pool volleyball or something like that. I think that's what Luke said, but
that seems about right for Brady.
Yeah.
But again, it was just a blast. And then something I didn't expect to happen, in the evening, and I'm sure, when you all of a sudden just grab some other folks who had been listening to the stream all day, and we all just started talking, that was a good time, talking about how some people became fans of the Bearcat Journal, how some people became fans of the Bearcats, where people are throughout the country, who watch the Bearcats, who listen to the Bearcat Journal, who listen to the BCJ.
Well, and the 3 that were on with us, Tonk and Marcus and Bob were in 3 different parts of the country. Absolutely. Marcus was in Atlanta and Tonk was in Texas. Yeah, that was really cool. And there were different generations of Bearcats.
And not to mention the sponsors you guys brought on, right? You brought on, first was Galactic Chicken, and then you had
Galactic Fried Chicken,
and then you had, which made me hungry, by the way. And then you had on, I can't think of his first name, but his last name,
Jimmy Mooring,
Mooring, from Holy Grail.
Mm-hmm.
Having the guy from Danco Transmissions. I keep wanting to call him Dan, but I don't think his name is Dan.
Danco Joe
from Danco Transmissions on, and that guy's just a fan. You know what I mean? He had his Steve Logan jersey up and everything like that. But and it was a blast. And not to mention having some former players on,
Cash
and Lenny,
Jimmy Smith.
I miss Jimmy's. I'm waiting for Chad to cut that one up and throw it out there. Well, I guess it's in the 11 hours. I could go watch that.
12 hours, 11:55. Yeah, it's in there.
And then, I enjoyed hopping in every once in a while when you guys weren't expecting it. With my best Luke Fickle.
Well, you forgot to mention Wes did come in somewhere in the middle there, but yeah,
Wes did come in
as he was at a coffee shop in Philly going to visit a commit.
So I caught the very beginning of the Wes interview, and then I took the kids out to dinner. And my favorite part was you asking your first question and him saying, "Well, sounds like you're a writer trying to rile people up." And I said, "Oh, poor Aaron. He couldn't wait for this Wes interview."
But that was my job. I was supposed to write, but I thought it was a must win. And he went on to say that he thinks every game's a must win. So yeah, I mean, I think it was a little tongue in cheek, but yeah, I mean, he's got a job to do. He's not going to come out and say, "No, this was definitely a must win,"
right?
Because he has to say that's. I mean, it's kind of coach talk that they're all must wins, as well they should be. Makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. But I had a blast watching. I got to join in for the last, was it 2 hours at the end of the night?
Yeah. Well, until you couldn't do it anymore.
I had to drive out to Hebron, dude, and I was tired.
We kept going, but
you went on for like another half hour after I signed off, right?
Yeah.
I signed off
we had to get to 1,000, and we got to 1,000.
Yeah, I think it had like 4 left when I signed off.
It was a really cool experience, though. My back is finally starting to feel a little bit better today.
Yeah, bad choice of chairs. A stool?
That's what I have. Again, like the desk that I have is elevated. So like when I'm standing, it comes up to, I don't know, above my waist. So
I don't know if that was still the right choice.
The stools came with, what am I going to do? Just go out and buy a new piece of furniture at that tiny apartment I have?
Possibly.
No. Get out of here, clown.
Just joking.
So that's it was a hell of a ride, a lot of fun. Who would have thought that when we started this adventure as part of the punctuation, you and I, almost 5 years ago now? 5 years.
In March. A couple weeks, yeah.
April.
No, it was March because it was March Madness.
Yeah, and it was
right before the Nevada game.
Right. That was like our 3rd episode.
I'm gonna play the sad music.
But yeah, we've come a long way to where, we're doing things like that with both head coaches on one of our shows. Like we continue to grow. We continue to, I think, impress one another and ourselves. And it's been quite the ride from going 2 dudes in a room with a microphone to where I'm 2.5 hours away and can still do the show with you. And
it was called. We started down here in the corner right here, actually.
I don't know.
Right here.
When our first episode, did we even have 2 microphones, or were we sharing a mic? Because I think we were sharing a mic.
I think I brought 2 microphones, but I didn't have all the software to do 2 mics on the computer, so we did share a mic the first one. That is true. By the second one, we were good.
So it's been quite the ride.
Except for our first interview when I screwed that up and we had to talk in one mic, and I eventually just said, "You interview them and I'll listen over here."
With Lindsey Patterson?
I think it was the one with FC Cincinnati Max
Ellerby.
Yeah.
Was that before her?
Yes.
Huh. Well, like I said, just cool to see where we've come in half a decade.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. And I mean, shout out to everybody who's listening, their support. Shout out to Jeff joining on with us.
Yep.
Clay, Chad, believing in us and putting us under the network and all that. So yeah, it's been fun. And that I almost felt like I wanted to do a subathon for PTP, but I'll let you get about 6 months of rest before that happens.
I also don't know that we would be able to quite book the same level guests for PTP.
I don't know that we need to, man. We can just bring the fans on. Bring on Brent.
Sure.
How about Brent calling in from work?
He does that. Not the first time I've done a podcast with him while he's been at work.
With those glasses and everything.
You guys are just getting to see it for the first time because we've been doing the YouTube stuff now for a couple months. But
that's true.
Yeah, we've definitely potted with him while he's been at work before.
That's true.
Big news of the day today, though, before we get into what happened since the last time we recorded. Big news of the day. Luke Fickell extends that contract out. We already knew it had already been announced by Justin, but it is officially in ink. It was voted on unanimously, might I add, by the board today. An extension of 2 years. He's through 2028. Bumps his pay up to a little over $5 million a year, I believe.
Did you read some of the stipulations?
No.
Some of those bonuses? I'm pulling up right now. Justin tweeted them earlier. So performance bonuses. Looks like the highest two are $250,000, and that is to make it to a New Year's Six bowl or college football playoff appearance.
Okay.
And another $250,000 if he wins the national championship.
So up to $500,000 in bonuses are attainable in any given year or just once? I'd imagine any given year.
In each year of the term, the maximum amount of performance compensation coach may receive is $775,000. So that's more than $500,000.
That's bananas.
That is bananas. I mean, he has other things in here. A bowl appearance for any other bowl game that's not a New Year's Six, that's $75,000. Top 25 finish is $50,000. Conference championship $50,000. Oh no, I'm sorry. Regular season championship $50,000. Conference championship $50,000. A bowl win is $25,000. Conference coach of the year $25,000. 10 regular season wins $30,000. 11 regular season wins $40,000, and 12 regular season wins $50,000.
I love Luke Fickell.
I'm here for it.
Well, and I like what came out too. I think it was Cunningham was quoted basically saying something along the lines of I'm paraphrasing, but just that we know what it takes to keep somebody of Big 12 caliber here. And that was the motivation behind the extension and the bump in pay, which I believe puts him at somewhere around the top 25 paid coach in the country, puts him behind just a couple of guys in the Big 12 as it currently stands. And once Oklahoma and Texas are gone, I'd imagine he'd be right up there at the top, if I'm not mistaken.
Imagine, yeah,
or close to it, if not top three. It's just well earned, well deserved, and for all of those who continue to say every time a job's open that Luke's leaving little old Cincinnati.
Well, he can't. Because they also show the termination payouts.
Oh, what is that?
So termination by university before January 1st.
Well, that's if the university fires him.
Okay, so termination of date of termination by coach. So before January 1st, 2021, $4 million. And then that goes down by $500,000 all the way up till January 1st, 2026, in which you have to pay $1.5 million.
That's not crazy for these other teams if they did want to buy him out.
It's not, but if you look at the termination, what he would get by the university. So if they terminate him, well, that says before January 21.
Ed.
Oh, because they gave him this contract before the season ended, right?
Yes.
Okay, so let's just look at if he gets terminated, which he won't, right? Before January 1st, 2022, the university has to pay him $20 million. $20.4 million.
If who terminates?
If the university terminates him.
That knocking. You're doing your leg thing again.
Oh. How was that coming through the mic?
Because your mic is attached to the table.
But the table, I'm not touching the table.
I don't know, man. I'm just telling you.
That's weird. All right.
So, in any case,
yeah,
I don't think he's going anywhere, especially with how much he's pushed to A, get his players played, B, put the staff together, C, get these recruits here because they continue to make these offers to 4 stars. It's going to be exciting to see what this staff, what this school is capable of doing in the next 6 years.
It's going to be crazy, and it's going to be exciting to watch.
I just hope that we're done now, at least for a little while.
Every time somebody leaves a university, can we please stop saying that Luke is going? And like, even if somebody leaves, like if David Bell gets fired tomorrow, can we not say that Luke Fickell is going to go be the general manager of, or the manager of the Reds?
They're not firing anybody because
I might still say for fun.
The Reds are going to have to pay them if they fire anybody, and Johnny Thinwallet over there. That's a different story for a different day. Ugh.
Although I would be okay. If Coach Taylor for the Bengals starts to suck, I would be okay if Luke left UC for the Bengals.
All right. Well,
don't see that ever happening, but I'm just saying that's the only time I would be okay with it.
I would not be okay with that. Not at this time.
I'm just saying ever. I'm not saying now.
Anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah, happy that he got things taken care of there. He's the best coach. I think that it's fair to say at this point, the best coach that Cincinnati has ever had.
I think it's probably fair to say.
And they now have him locked up. He's not going anywhere. I don't know, just the way that he handled even the extension. Chad. The way that he handled the extension, I'm very impressed. Chad, I don't expect Chad to hop in. I did send him a link for tonight, but I don't expect him to hop in as his voice has to make it for if he was on.
Yeah, he's still filling in for Mo, right?
Right. So
yeah.
he's got to make it a couple more days this week. So not to mention he's got another podcast tomorrow night. So
Chad's not going to talk for the next week after this.
I mean, that's not true. He's not going on vacation. He still has 2 podcasts he's got to be a part of next week, unless he develops laryngitis. And even then, I expect him to try and battle through it if that were the case. But
you're right. He has to keep working to get those squishmallows.
I still don't understand any of that.
You didn't see, it's just like a giant pillow, man. It's just like
why are we paying $70 for pillows?
That's a good point. But it's just like Dave was saying, it's just like having his little wrestling buddies back in the day.
It reminded me of Beanie Babies, but bigger.
By the way, I do have, and I said it on Friday night, but I do have a bag full of Beanie Babies over there in that room. 2 Princess Diana ones, so I'm pretty sure I'm a millionaire.
All right. So that was the big news of the day today. Outside of that, Ed, we do have to get to the recent games by the Bearcats.
Okay, we can try.
What does that even mean? So since the last time that we recorded,
Tuesday night,
the Bearcats took on Wichita State on Thursday after they lost to Memphis. They did win, and they looked pretty good doing it. They won 85-76 on Thursday, and then on Sunday they took on the Temple Owls at Fifth Third Arena, 3rd straight home game, and they lost 71-75, 75-71, however you want to say it, whatever. They lost to Temple. That one hurt.
Yeah, it hurt, especially after Temple's 2 starters fouled out with like 10 minutes left.
Well,
we started making that run back, but it hurt.
We'll break down that game in a moment. But first, Wichita State. What were your thoughts watching? Because I know you watched Wichita State.
Yeah.
So what were your thoughts watching that game as the Shockers of Wichita came in?
That one was a good game. Like it was a game that I expected to win. They played strong in that one. There was a lot of I don't know. There wasn't a lot of mistakes being made in that game. I mean, there was a few, but not like we had seen, the week before against Memphis, or the game before against Memphis. I don't know. I mean, it was a good game.
What a breakdown by Ed.
Thanks. I didn't know we were going straight into that. So
sure, there were some mistakes made.
Yeah. I mean, David DeJulius had 17. Mike Adams-Woods had 15. John Newman had 13. Adu had a good game that game, right?
He did.
Yeah.
That was the game in which the student section really embraced Abdul Adu for the first time all year, where they were kind of doing the do chants, much in the same way that they would do Mamadou chants. Anytime he was making big plays, he ended up having 4 blocks in that game, only 1 turnover. He did have a steal as well. He had some big rebounds and some big moments.
Couple big dunks towards the end, if I remember as well.
He ended up with 6 points in that one. So I don't recall.
Yeah, he played hard that game. I do remember that from the game. Like, he played hard in that game, and I was excited to see it because as a fan, I get my hopes up. Like, yes, this is the turning. This is the turning. The big mans are coming out finally. And then Sunday happened.
But Odie had a good game that game as well. I mean, between Odie and Adu and Hayden Koval, you had 14 points, which it's been a little while since we had that kind of productivity out of the 5 spot. As Odie's been playing a lot more 5 than he has 4 over the course of the last several games. Of course, you did have Adu out in the Memphis game, and so that's been imperative for Odie to be running at the 5 spot with some of that going on.
Jeremiah Davenport was 50% from the threes. Every time Jeremiah Davenport shoots up a 3, I just get scared for the rest of the game.
And you're still talking about? I'm making sure you're still talking about Wichita.
Right. Yeah, I'm still talking about Wichita.
Vic's numbers have been limited as he's been working through some nagging injuries that have been kind of hitting him most of the season since early on. But they were doing everything right. They were making the extra passes. They were finding the open guys. If DeJulius was making a drive, he was finding the guy open.
Correct.
It could have been a game where Cincinnati fell on its ass, if we're being honest.
Yes.
Because with Odie being or Adu, I'm sorry, being a bit dinged up, Morris Udeze, the center for Wichita, he's a force.
Yeah.
And they instead
he had 13 points.
Yeah. And 7 rebounds.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a dude.
Also, Ricky Council
coming off the bench
was 17. But every time they would say his name, I kept thinking Councilman Barnett. That's weird. I just kept going, why is Councilman Barnett in the game? Weird.
That's special.
I know.
You guys have a bromance, I think.
No, I don't think so. I just every time councilman, I don't know. Haven't taken the meds in a couple days, so I got an appointment next week to get a refill.
Unreal. But yeah, that dude comes off the bench. He's had 30 off the bench for them this year. Ricky Council's going to be a force. I'm not going to be terribly upset if next season's the last season we have to deal with him. I also wouldn't be surprised if he finds his way out of Wichita if they're either not going to start him or with the teams that do move on from the American. The American's going to be in a different place in a couple of years.
It's going to be real different.
So we'll see.
Everything okay?
Yeah.
Oh, I heard beeping. I thought it was a fire alarm.
Oh, no, I think someone's microwaving something.
Okay.
I'm not used to having a microphone this good. So this was a Valentine's Day present. So we're
happy Valentine's Day.
Yeah, Chad was telling me that you can hear the fish tank in the background a little bit.
I do hear it now. Yes.
Yep. So just a little bit of ambient noise for you there.
Is that the Yeti or is that the Nano or just regular Yeti?
Where did the box go? This is the Yeti.
The regular one. All right.
Yeah.
The
premium multi-pattern USB mic.
Yeah. Omni and cardioid.
But I got the black one.
Oh, mine's black too.
Yeah.
We're back to having the same mic. This is good times.
Nice.
This is good times.
And I think Chad has the same one as well.
Yes, he does. Yes.
Which setting do you have your bottom dial? The pattern.
Card.
I don't.
Cardioid. I'm not a tech guy. Card.
Mine's the third one. I don't know. Whatever.
Oh, you have 3 settings. I have 2.
I have 4.
Oh, all right then.
Yeah, there's like 2 circles interlaced. There's a circle. There's an upside down heart or maybe a butt. I'm not really sure. And then there's an 8. I went with the butt.
I think that's the correct one, actually. I think it's card.
That's one Chad advised me to go with.
Yes.
That was where he felt my voice sounded the best.
Good call, Chad. Good call.
So yeah, Wichita, happy to get out of that one with a win. The Bearcats, they shot really, really well. When you shoot over 50% for the game, 51%, almost 52% in the first half, and you bump that up to almost 57% in the second half, you're going to win games. You went 58%, almost 58% from behind the arc. It's gonna win you some games.
Yeah.
And then Cincinnati played Temple.
Yeah, that's not good. So I went to that game. Thank you for the tickets. Got to take the family.
Yeah, how was that, by the way? Because that was the first time. I didn't realize that was the first time you'd been able to take the entire family.
Yeah, because not last year, right before the pandemic hit, 2020, around this same time, you had an extra ticket, and I took Parker, and so we took the whole family this time. Definitely showed up late. Definitely didn't get in there until maybe 10 minutes into the first half, and they were already down. But talk about the boys. They were excited to be in the arena the whole time driving down there. I get to see Mikey Saunders. So he was excited about that. Parker wore the throwback Jason Maxiell jersey that I bought him last year. Yeah, I was excited about that. So I mean, they were excited to go. I completely forgot where your seats were because it's been about 2 years since I've been there. I mean, I knew it was over in that corner, but I forgot how to get there. When was the
last time Michelle had been to a game?
When we went and we had the floor seats.
So Memphis pre-COVID.
Yeah, Memphis 2019.
That's a long time.
I accidentally entered in on the first floor where the locker room is. And so I had to walk up a bunch of flights of stairs. That's when I got lost. I was like, I don't know where I'm at now. I thought after I walked up one flight of stairs, I thought I was on our level, but I wasn't. I was on the main level. But anyways, as soon as we sat down, Bryce kept asking where Mikey Saunders was. Of course, he was sitting on the bench. Councilman left because he said my kids are crazy. But turns out it was just not because of my kids.
Or it was probably because the game itself.
Oh, he left like right as soon as we got there.
Oh,
I think he just moved down. It was a lot more. There was a lot more people there than I thought was going to be there for a Sunday afternoon.
Okay.
Which was a nice afternoon. So I thought there'd be some people out, just enjoying the nice afternoon. But a lot of fans there, so that was good. But the play on the court, not so much. Not so much.
So your volume's doing some weird things here. It keeps fading real low. Just heads up on that. I don't know.
Fixed it.
All right, cool. It's only sporadic.
Messing with the gate.
In any case, it was a rough one, as it seemed Temple, anytime there was a loose ball, it ended up in their hands.
Every time there was a loose ball, it ended up in Temple's hands. It seemed like a lot of the calls were going Temple's way. I'm not trying to be that blame the refs person. I said this last week too.
Not in that one. There wasn't a blame the refs person.
The refs could have called some fouls on Temple. Like, there are some points where we were getting elbows thrown at us, and some calls could have been made on Temple from being inside the arena.
UC shot 34% at the end of the day.
Yeah, horrible at shooting. Yes, absolutely.
They shot 25% on their layups for the day. They shot 25% from 3 for the day. It was not a good day for the Bearcats.
No.
And, I don't think it was coincidence that a lot of those loose balls end up in Temple's hands. As Chad and I talk about on the nightcap frequently, unfortunately, this UC team lacks length. They don't have the guys that are, your 6'7", 7-foot wingspan guys.
Right.
So who are the two headliner guys for next season? In Dan Skillings and Josh Reed.
How about that dunk Skillings had this weekend?
It was a nice dunk.
It was a nice dunk.
But both those dudes are 6'7", 7-foot guys.
Yeah. What are their arm span?
Over 7 foot.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. Like, they're 6'7". They're each 6'7", and they both have over 7 foot wingspans.
Okay, sorry, I thought you.
Yeah. No, neither of them are over 7 foot.
Okay.
Sage is the only one who's over 7 foot.
Sage
Tolentino. But yeah, I mean, there are
some
obviously
good words about him and his coach from Wes Miller during the subathon as well.
Yeah, I mean, he's working at. He had an injury that he was coming off of, and he's been improving steadily throughout the season. So those are things you like to see.
Yeah.
As we all know, he's very skinny in his frame, and he's going to need to get right with Rayfelt and work in the Monster Factory and put some weight on, much in the same way that both Skillings and Reed are going to have to as well. But these are the type of guys you're seeing. What does this team currently lack? This team currently lacks length. So what we're in all three of these gentlemen, these young bucks, they all have length, and that's what you like to see. As much as people want to dog on Wes Miller, because we've all seen it on social media.
Oh my goodness!
Whether you're on Facebook, whether you're on Twitter, any of that, we've seen plenty of the. Does he know what he's doing? Which is hilarious, especially some of these people who it's coming from. Like,
why are we still saying that? Like, again, if we have to, it seems like we have to remind people every week. This man had 30 days, 3-0. And by the way, that 30 days was after the initial wave of transfer portal people. Mm-hmm. So he really didn't even have a good choice out of the transfer portal. He had 30 days to get a team together.
I think the best way that you can kind of compare this to for Cincinnati fans to really get it is when the Bengals hired Zach Taylor. You're knocking again.
Yeah, that was me. Yeah.
When the Bengals hired Zach Taylor, they hired him after the Super Bowl when everybody else already had their guy in tow.
Yeah.
And they had to wait until the Super Bowl was over in order to get him. And then he got a pick of whatever guys were left to put his staff together.
Yeah.
This is kind of like that.
Yeah.
Where the wave was already over. He didn't have a chance to really recruit because that was over as well. So
he had to rely on guys that he already coached before.
He had to recruit his own players to stay.
He went down to Indy like right after his introduction.
Right. He had to
go talk to Mikey, right? Yeah.
He had to talk to Mikey. He had to talk to. I'm sure he had to talk to DeJulius. I'm sure he had to talk to Davenport. I'm sure he had to talk to. But we already know he had to talk. He had to talk to Mace. Like he had to keep these guys here.
I'm sure he tried to talk to Eason, Tari.
Sure, I mean, sure, but when
all know that, yeah.
When LSU comes dropping knocking. A bag, right?
Yeah,
they made a strong offer.
Yeah, you don't. Yeah.
One of those strong ass offers. So
this is one of those likeness deals. Okay, yeah, we'll bring you on.
Yeah, at least nobody was dancing on a platform with him.
Oh God,
awkward.
We should have put that in the contract, by the way. No dancing on 360 camera platforms.
You don't have to put that in the contract, Ed. That's
good.
That's the beauty of Luke Fickell.
Just afraid he's going to build one in the barn.
You don't need. Wouldn't be for him.
For the kids.
Wouldn't be for him. So I don't know. I mean, all considering, if you go back and look at the improvement records that the previous regime had, that Mick had, even that Bob Huggins had, even that Andy Kennedy had.
Yeah.
None of them had a better improvement from the year prior than Wes Miller currently does, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm not sure why we're saying easy, Tiger. But no, you're right. And I know last year when I was still defending the previous regime, I went and did like a comparison. I might have to do it again just to see if I can shut some people up on Twitter. And I mean, yeah, with all due respect. But it's just, I don't know why. Wes is not somebody compared him to the Reds. I don't want to be, they said something like, I don't want the Reds to be, or the Bearcats to be like that. Oh, the Reds are rebuilding, or they're rebuilding just like the Reds, we say about the Reds every year. But I don't think Wes Miller is that guy. Like, we've seen the passion that he has on the court when he's losing. He's not that guy. He doesn't want to lose. So he's not going to be complacent with mediocrity. Damn.
Mediocrity.
So I'm trying to use big words because Jeff's not here tonight. Shouldn't do it.
It's okay. I know you couldn't spell it.
He's not going to be complacent. All right, is what I'm trying to say.
Good job. So proud of you.
Thank you. He's going to go out there and he's going to get those guys, and he's going to have a chance at getting a shot at guys in the first day of the transfer portal this year. He's going to have he's been actually recruiting guys now for his team, not for UNC Greensboro, but for his team here in Cincinnati. We saw it. He was, when he called into the subathon, he was in Philly going to watch Skillings play. Like right after a win, he was on a plane, headed out to Philly. And then, that's obviously on a Saturday or a Friday. Fly home Saturday, get ready for a game on Sunday. This guy is nonstop working. He's married to the game. He doesn't have a wife anymore. And he's not going to let this team slip into some sort of lackluster team. I mean, he's not. I don't see that coming from him.
Yeah, no. To clarify, I did mean it. If they ever built a platform, it would strictly be for the kids. Just want to put that out there. I was not insinuating anything else. But goodness. That said, no, I'm with you on Wes. Like Wes loves. I truly believe him when he says that he looks at this as a huge opportunity to be with a school with a rich history, and that I think that he is 1,000% dedicated to building this team back up to where it's heralded again as a school that you want to be at. How can you look right at the other end of the Lindner Center and not want to have that level of success?
Tell me he doesn't want to be Luke Fickell. Tell me he doesn't want to walk around the campus with the, people like, throwing rose petals at his feet when he's going, to Starbucks. You know what I mean? He wants that. And
I know people still try to bring up like, these still aren't the Huggins days. When are we going to stop that?
That was, how old are we? 30? Oh, okay. Well, I'll be 38 next week and you'll still be 37.
I'll be 38 in June.
Okay. But I mean, that happened in 2005, 2004.
It's been a long time, almost 20 years.
Let's get over it.
And we're still talking about it.
I mean, I was the biggest Hugs fan, right? I mean, I went to Hugs Inn just hoping to see him there. You know, the old restaurant he used to have. You know, I was a huge Hugs fan, but even I have gotten over that. Even I have said, okay, Huggins is not coming back. All right, he's going to retire at West Virginia. He's at 900 wins now, I think. He's not coming back, and this isn't the same team. This isn't the same basketball that it was back then either.
It's not the same school. Like,
yeah,
think about. I mean, think about where we've come from. Nancy Zimpher in charge to where we are now with John Cunningham in charge. That's drastically different.
Way different.
You also have the success of the football program, as we've already discussed.
Yeah.
And yeah, basketball is not even played the same anymore.
Matter of fact, I wanted to bring it up on the subathon. Do you remember? And I think you were there. Like we were trying to figure out something to do one night, and I think it was your senior year of high school, because I was a year behind you. And I think Ann gave us tickets to a football game, UC football game, and we went, and it was dead. Like there was nobody there. Michelle says she remembers it. I don't remember if you were there or not.
I don't recall.
Okay. Well, maybe it's just me, Paul, and Tony then. But we went, and it was dead. This isn't the same.
No.
And that was 2002. This isn't the same. Like when Huggins was there it's not the same.
Well, I mean, we were strictly a basketball school at that point.
Exactly. When you bought UC basketball tickets, you got football tickets.
I mean, I graduated 2002. You graduated 2003. And 2004 was when this team was really looked at as, oh, you know, that was when Brian Kelly was there and they had that team going on. After that, obviously, you had some different regimes with Butch Davis and with
Butch Davis. That's a name I haven't heard in a while.
Or I'm sorry, not Butch Davis, Butch Jones. Butch
Still
Davis
a name I haven't heard in a while.
Either one. Butch Davis was never here. I take that back. But yeah, you had some different regimes that came through here. I'm sorry, Brian Kelly was 2007. It was D'Antonio.
I thought it might have been D'Antonio, but I was going to go with it because I didn't know.
Feel free to correct.
I wasn't 100% sure, so I wasn't going to try to connect.
Thanks for fact checking us, Dad.
Does he just want to jump in?
Because he can't talk. He's saving his voice. Man.
Well, that's the other thing I want to bring up is at that Wichita game, Roy Williams was there.
Correct.
Do you think a man who comes to watch Roy Williams play is going to just let his team be mediocre? No.
Well,
I think this is I can't believe where we're coming from with this.
I can't tell you how nervous I was to ask him if he wanted to share anything. To ask Wes when we had him on the subathon if he wanted to share anything that they discussed. And he did kind of give us a little peek behind the curtain. He did also say that there were some things in private that he didn't want to disclose.
Sure.
I was impressed he said anything.
I mean, let's give him some time.
Roy was there from Memphis, not Wichita. Sorry.
He was there from Memphis?
Stat dad over here.
I thought that was a Wichita game.
No, it was Memphis. It was after a loss, so he was pissed. But
that makes sense. Yeah.
He even said to Neil on the subathon, like I was pissed. As fans, you should be pissed. You're allowed to be pissed.
Yeah, I was pissed.
We were all pissed. I mean,
we were mad. But I think the other thing that happened, and I've said this before on the pod, is we did overachieve early in that tournament when we beat Illinois. Or no, we didn't beat Illinois. Who we beat?
It was Illinois.
Did we beat Illinois? And then we lost to the other team.
Arkansas.
And so I think that gives us all this kind of like in the back of our heads, like, we're better than this. We could play better than this. But I also think that was
I think they're
beginning of the year.
You can look at it a couple different ways. I mean, Cincinnati's lost some games they shouldn't have lost. I'm looking at you, Monmouth. But they've also won some games that they probably shouldn't have won. Same goes for any team in the NCAA. Like nobody's really like some crazy hardcore. This team is everything outside of maybe Kentucky. Kentucky's really good this year. I mean, there's a handful of teams, but they're not. No one's really like this team's going to be a force of all teams. I don't know. I mean, this is going to happen. You're going to have some fluke wins. You're going to have some fluke losses, and that's going to be a thing until this current staff, this current coach gets the guys he wants, gets the guys he needs in place.
Yeah.
And I don't this might be shocking news to some people.
Uh-oh.
It's not going to be all better next year.
Ba, 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 ba.
You know what I mean? Like, it's not.
Oh, it's not.
We're going to still have Band-Aids in places.
We're going to have some pieces in that's going to make us look a little bit better, but it's not going to be what we had in the last couple of years of Mick Cronin.
He doesn't have the tenure here of the guys that he wants in place yet. He's getting there, but it's just simply not there yet.
No, you're right.
We can have this same exact conversation next year
on 2/22/23.
That is not there yet, and that's okay. As long as you continue to see improvement year over year.
Yeah. I 100% believe that. And I said the same thing for the previous regime. There were things outside of my control that made that go wrong, but I'm going to stick to it with this one as well.
Here's the bad news, Ed.
Yeah.
Bad news is in 2 years, you're potentially looking at a gauntlet of the Big 12.
Oh, yeah.
So maybe you don't see improvement from next year to the year after. And that can still be okay.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're building into a new conference. So patience is a virtue.
Mm-hmm.
And it's unfortunately going to take a little bit with the basketball team comparatively with the football team, because those two are going to continue to be compared as the old basketball heads who fell in love with the program because of basketball simply don't have the patience with the basketball team because they see the success of the football team.
Will this solve the issue that you have at Bearcats basketball games of the people in the lower bowl not standing up?
Will what solve that?
The older heads leaving and the newer folks coming in.
I hope that's a thing. I mean, I know that there's going to be a reseeding at Fifth Third. There's going to be a reseeding at Nipper, but it's still going to be those who have put the most into the program getting first dibs.
Yeah.
So I don't know that that's going to change a ton with what's already, because Fifth Third reseeded when they revamped the entire arena.
Yeah, but it still comes down to the money.
Correct. But how many people that are sitting in the upper bowl have put in the kind of money the people in the lower bowl have donated?
Some of them can't. A lot of them can't.
Correct. Hi.
Oh, yeah. Unless somehow I win the lottery, then we'll be down there. Don't worry.
Well, but my point is, like, you're not going to see a ton of new people, especially at Fifth Third.
But I wonder,
moving seats.
My thought is, will new money? Not I would say new money. Now this starts to sound like a class sort of thing, but like, will younger people who are now coming into money, lots of money, start taking over those seats?
Maybe,
hopefully.
But I wouldn't count on it.
Yeah,
I don't know. I just obviously, and we saw this on Twitter this week, and I know that you paid a ton more attention to it than I did, where you had students going after the people in attendance for drinking too much and for not getting into the game and for being too busy to go getting more beers and whatever. You had people getting at the student section for it only being half full.
I did wonder, and this is not a shot at the UCats or anyone, but I did wonder what happened. All of a sudden, I don't know why I thought of this just Sunday, probably because I was there. But what happened to all the fat heads? Like all the big heads. Remember we used to have the Jaron Cumberland one with him and his stepbrothers.
COVID happened.
Well, did they all just go away? I mean, they keep them in a storage closet anywhere?
There's a lot of, generally speaking, I think you have younger kids as opposed to older college kids. in those seats, and they just haven't been around for the last 2 years.
That's fair.
Also, a Sunday tip on a nice day at 2:00 when you're in the 60s, you can't be surprised when kids are like, "I got these free tickets, but
yeah." That's why I said I was surprised at the amount of people that were there because of how nice it was. You know, all the rain we had just a couple days before. You know, I didn't think Michelle would want to go because it was so nice out. And when I told her, and she's like, "No, let's go," and I was like, "Okay, let's go."
You did tell me no first, and then you're like,
"Well, I did. Well,
I do want those tickets."
Well, I thought he was still sick. She says he wasn't. So, not sick. He just had the sniffles. It's from weather change. But there were a lot of people there. But yes, I did see it. The student section was very empty on our side, and then over the band side, it was very, very empty.
It's generally pretty empty over there. And
yeah, at one point, Bryce had asked if that was the student section for Temple.
I don't know how you fix that on that side. I know that I've reaped the benefit of that side being fairly empty.
Yeah.
Where I've been very close without a ticket in that section
I thought
in
about
particular. But no, I mean, I just, like I said, I don't know how you fix it. And I really hope, I have nothing to say one way or the other, but I really hope that they just tell the ushers, especially in the second half, unless somebody's saying somebody's sitting in my seats, just let people go and fill in the lower, especially when those games are nationally televised.
That's what I was going to say. So I don't remember what year it was. This was a few years ago. I had gone to a game at US Bank Arena. The game was at US Bank Arena. I think it was only at US Bank Arena because it was on ESPN. And a buddy and I bought seats way up top. And we sat in our seats. And before the game started, and there was nobody around us. Before the game started, this guy came up and he goes, "Hey, are these your guys' seats?" And I'm like, "Really? You're gonna ask if these are our seats? There's plenty of seats around us." And we're like, "Yeah, these are our seats." And he goes, "You want floor seats?" And like, so they had somebody going through the arena, getting the people from way up top and bringing them down. We actually got floor seats right behind the basket. I was like 5 feet away from Nick Lachey. But why don't they do that anymore? Like,
you want to pick up that name you just dropped?
Nick Lachey. That may have been a US Bank Arena thing, but I mean, they do need to do that for these nationally televised games. Like, you got to bring the people down. Like, you have to fill in those spots, or else we're gonna look like an empty arena.
And that was the case on Sunday.
And that doesn't look good for recruits.
It also doesn't look good on ESPN2. But that's, I guess, a story for another day.
Yeah, I have another question for you. I have a couple questions for you.
Okay, shoot.
Do you think some people on this team are getting selfish with their shots?
I feel like you're directly pointing at Jeremiah Davenport.
Yes. There was plenty of time left on the shot clock, and he shot a 3 from maybe a foot away from the half court line.
How much time was still on the clock?
There was plenty of time left.
24 seconds is actually the answer.
On the regulation clock?
On the shot clock.
Okay, yeah, 24 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't look at the shot clock. I just knew when he shot it up, I was like, why? He just brought it across the line.
Looking at the game that we watched, and Jeremiah Davenport, of any player on this team, likes to heat
24 points. Yes,
likes to heat check himself often.
Okay.
And he's made a couple of those this season. You do know that.
I do, but he hasn't. I don't think he's made enough to. Okay,
bear with me.
All right, I'm listening.
He was at least open on that shot, albeit not a shot I wanted him to take. But would you rather the offense that struggled to find guys getting open continue to pass the ball around for, I don't know, 13 to 20 more seconds and throw a rush shot up? Or would you rather him just heat check? Maybe he makes it, maybe he doesn't while he's open, and get it out of the way before running into something similar.
Oh, I'd rather move the ball around. that's just me being an old head. Maybe I'd rather move the ball around, and I'd rather try to find the good shot, not the guaranteed shot. I mean, not all shots are guaranteed, but the shot that is more likely to go in than a half court shot.
Well, it wasn't quite half court. It was just behind the logo, and he did 2 of those actually in the Temple game. One on either side of the arc.
He was 3 for 9 from threes.
He was, but again, he's good for 1 or 2 of those a game. You're going to get that. That's just simply the way it is. And I think that Wes Miller's encouraged the players to take the shots that they feel comfortable with.
All right.
And he's done that a couple different times. I don't love it. That's not the shot I want to take. But again, I'd rather take it early in the shot clock and do that than to drain 20 more seconds off the shot clock and end up with a similar shot, if not worse.
Okay. So that's a no. That's an answer. That's a no.
I don't think anybody's being selfish, I guess, is because I do see them passing. Like, I don't, especially in the Wichita game. Like, if you look at it, was very different between the Wichita game and the Temple game, but Wichita's not quite as long. I mean, they got Tyson Etienne kind of reminds me of what's the point guard from Toronto, from the Toronto Raptors that just went to the Miami Heat this year? It lets the defense off the hook, making them defend has value, even if we get a bad shot later on.
As a defensive-minded player, back when I played, I agree with that statement.
You know what my favorite thing about Ohio 54 is? I had never seen Ohio 54 comment before the subathon on anything. I don't recall. And if it did happen, I apologize. I just don't recall. But he or she was very active in the subathon.
Oh yeah.
And
that's the other part about the subathon I loved.
Like to see it crossing over.
That's the other part of the subathon that I loved, was interacting with everybody in the chat too. Like, even before we came on, like some of us came on, interacting with people in the chat was so much fun.
Nice. But yeah, I mean, I don't think anybody's being selfish with it. I think it just, with the way that this team is set up, and when you have a team that is as long as Temple is, it's the passing lanes were clogged.
All right.
They weren't able to get that extra pass like they were against Wichita, because Wichita is shorter. What is that dude's name? Lowry.
Mike Lowry?
No, not Mike Lowry.
You talking about Mike Lowry?
No, I still am not talking about Mike Lowry. The point guard from the Raptors.
I don't watch a lot of NBA until it comes down to playoffs.
I hate you.
I tried to watch the All-Star game.
I tried to filibuster so you could look it up. And Kyle
Lowry.
You. Jesus. Thank you. I tried to filibuster so you could look it up.
I was talking about the All-Star game, which was not that great.
Be better, Ed.
I've been better tonight.
You have been. I've been very impressed with what you've brought to the table. So
thank you. All right, let me get to my other question.
Well, before you go any further,
go ahead.
I also apologize for not bringing anything to the table last week and basically being under the table, if you will.
That was a lot of fun.
Was it?
No. The whole time I was in there praying that Jeff would just hop on his phone or something. Jeff, please jump on, Jeff.
Something, anything,
anything.
I did wait to crack the first drink.
I actually did not bring one down today. I mean, I do still have some of this.
I'm only on 2, so
Chattanooga whiskey that you guys all made faces at on Friday night, but
still doing it. It's fine.
Okay, here's my other question. And this might be coming. One of the kids is up. This might be coming from a fan point of view. Maybe I don't know what I'm trying to say here. I would say Homer / fan point of view, whatever it might be.
Use your words, Ed.
Whatever the words might be. Do you think that Mikey Saunders, and I know we haven't seen the production out of him this year that we were hoping to see, but do you think that this is maybe a product of him sitting on the bench when, after being told at the beginning of the season that he should be a starter? No. You don't think? Okay, so here's my thoughts. Right, so when he does use his speed to get to the hole, he I think he overcompensates and overdoes it, trying to get the basket, because I feel like he's trying to prove that he should be out there on the court and that he should possibly be a starter. Do you think that might be in the back of his head at all?
I disagree with all of that.
Okay.
First and foremost, looking at the two guards on this team that play the majority of the minutes, and David DeJulius and Mike Adams-Woods,
which they should. They put up good points.
Who would you give more minutes to Mikey for?
Well, I mean, next year David DeJulius isn't going to be there.
Maybe. He still has a year of eligibility.
Does he?
Yes.
Yeah, it feels like he's what was that? Taco Fall, who just never left.
He's got the COVID year.
Oh yeah, that's right. He still has that. All right.
That said,
I thought the COVID year was a senior year, to be honest with you.
Teams have kind of figured out Mikey. He's fast, and he tends to go to the left of the rim, and that's the side he wants to lay up on. So if you clog that lane, he's either going to try and pass, and as long as you're a body in the way, he's not Jason Williams. Like, he's not making the crazy, or Jason Kidd, for that matter. Like, he's not making a crazy pass. He's just fast. And if you're up and in the way, you can either steal the ball on an errant pass more often than not, or you block the shot as long as you got your arms up.
Yeah, all right. I was just hoping there was something that was just like maybe
he just
nagging him.
He hasn't shot well from three, and he doesn't really take those mid-range shots at all.
He had 8 against Wichita, but only had 2 against Temple. But yeah.
But if you look at what his shooting percentages have been, I mean, he was 0 for 4 against Temple. 0 for 3 from 3. They'll let him stay open behind the arc. They'll dare him to shoot. He doesn't often make them.
Or his 2 free throws? Yep, they were.
And if you let him drive, as long as he beats everybody, which he's very capable of doing, that's great. Then you get 2. But if there's anybody down under the hoop, especially the centers that got back, or 4 that got back quick,
yeah,
good luck. Because he keeps trying to do these acrobatic, like, I'm going up and then I'm going to do this like dish off, and he keeps getting turnovers with that.
Yeah,
we all wanted him to take a step forward.
Yeah, I just sitting there on Sunday trying to figure out like what caused this regression, and
I don't know that it's necessarily even regression. I just think it hasn't been progression, so we view it as regression because we didn't see that step forward.
Yeah, that's fair.
Also, there's tape on him now. There wasn't tape on him last year.
Yeah, he
was a true freshman last year.
Yep.
Plus, you had COVID.
So
you didn't have scouts at games. You didn't have, like.
Yeah, that's fair.
Things are different. But it sucks because I think we all wanted him to be a dude.
Yeah. Especially he was being compared to like Nick and everything like that, but
I think it can still get there. But I think that he has to learn how to go to the right side of the hoop. He has to improve his shooting. And I think some of it is confidence, to your original point in this entire question. But I don't think that's the end of the discussion.
Gotcha.
So,
also shout out to him for saying hello to my son on campus as we were driving by. I know it's kind of, no, not Nicholas Shea. Van Exel. But we saw him. He was walking with his family. It looked like back to the dorms. And my son rolled down his window and just said hi. And he turned around and smiled and said hi to him. And I just made sure to yell out the window that my son was a fan, that we weren't just some weird family that was driving through campus saying hi to people.
I wouldn't put it past you.
That's fair. I mean, back in the days of the Rolla, we definitely did that kind of stuff.
All right. So Super Bowl was 2 weeks ago. Roughly. He's closer to Lachey than Nick Van Exel. Oh no.
He's getting married, Jessica Simpson.
Super Bowl was 2 weeks ago. And you've had a little bit of time to digest. I've had a little bit of time to digest. I'm not even sure we talked about the Bengals last week. Everything's a little gray for me.
We did.
Everything's a little gray for me. That said, first thing on the docket for the Bengals to do you think they do it? Extend Jesse Bates.
I think there's been some cryptic tweets that sound like
Jesse.
Yeah, that sound like it could possibly happen. I think it has. I think it needs to happen.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there's gonna be anybody in free agency.
Do you make him a top 5 paid safety? Because in the playoffs,
have the money.
In the playoffs, he played his ass off.
He did.
In the regular season, this year, not last year. Last year he was a top 3. This year, I didn't get that same feeling.
Huh.
So do you make him a top, the top, or even the top 3 paid safety in the league?
We have plenty of money. I hate to say this because this just sounds like this is the completely wrong thing to do. This is what you don't do in business, and Mike Brown runs this as a business. But I mean, there's nobody else out there, in my opinion. And he played his butt off last year.
He gels here.
Yeah, people like him.
There's that,
and that's the sad part. Like, you don't just pay people because you like him, right? That's the Bob Castellini, right? We're not trading him because the fans like him.
We're also not talking about Bob Castellini.
I know.
I don't know. I mean, I'm with Chad, I think, on this one.
Handshakes? No. Jesse Bates, go ahead.
You franchise tag him.
So I was just about to say that. Can we franchise tag? Franchise tag? Can we franchise tag him? I can't even. Okay.
I think you put him on a 1-year prove-it deal because you can. Simply because you can. And even if it means you lose him next year. With Ricardo Allen retiring, you have a safety spot open. So you can draft a guy. Brian Cook! Sorry.
Both turned. We said that was good.
But you can $12.5 million for safety. There you go, safety tag. But it is the average of the top 5, I believe, top 5 people in the league at that position. You tag him, you put him on a prove it year, and find out if he is a top 3 guy. If he is, maybe you pay him, and if he's not, maybe you drafted a replacement. And you focus the rest of that money, to your point, on the offensive line, where you have a ton of money to spend. And much like the Kansas City Chiefs did, which, truthfully, against the Bengals, it really didn't work out. And because the Bengals, because not even the Bengals, but the NFL kind of figured out the code. The NFL cracked the code on Patrick Mahomes this year. Stop blitzing. Send 8 into coverage. Rush 3. The end.
Yeah, I mean, I like the idea of franchise chat. Why can't I say that tonight? Franchise tagging him. Thank you. And I don't want to say make it improve it for another year, but it'd be a good business move. We do need to focus on that offensive line, and we need to focus on that on the first day of free agency, which is today.
Well, no, is it? No, it's not today. Franchise tag, clown.
It's funny because I was reading a book to one of my
the first day of free agency was not today, or we would have heard people signing everywhere.
What was today then?
Not anything.
Oh, okay.
First day of the combine.
Which they've burst the bubble on that.
Was it the first day of the combine on?
No, definitely was not first day of combine.
I'm just asking. I don't know. I'm Googling it.
I thought today was the first day of something. Pat said today was the first day of something.
The franchise flag.
It's funny, dude. It's funny because I was reading a book to
the
last weekend,
franchise flag,
and I was like, "That's silly, Wabbit."
March 16th, so we still got almost another month, bro.
Jeez.
4:00.
Is today the first day of like the unofficial?
He just said today was the first day to franchise tag.
Oh, okay, that's what it was. All right. I don't know, Aaron. Do you know the answer to this one? When is the first day of the UC Pro Day?
I don't, but Chad might. So we'll wait to see
what Chad says,
and we'll wait to see if he responds in the chat.
Our stats guy.
What were you going to ask me?
I don't know.
I don't either. So yeah, obviously, offensive line is a need. I would love to see them pick up. Honestly, I would. If you pick up a guy to take over Riley Reif's position, Riley Reif. I know Chad says Reif. I think you still have to have a backup better than what we've had, better than Isaiah Prince, better than Xavier Suafilo, better than like we need to have some guys, even if it's just one tackle in the chamber. Like you got to have somebody else, and maybe that's where you attack it through the draft. Truthfully,
I just looked it up online. The pro day is the 24th. Time to be determined.
Chat also put that in the chat.
Oh well, I looked.
But yeah, I think you can still draft a tackle, even if it's first round, second round, to have in the chamber. But I think you have to have somebody better, or maybe Jonah's the guy in the chamber, and you spend on 2 tackles. I don't know. First rounder for Tunsil, I don't hate that.
I don't hate the idea either.
I also have heard though that Tunsil can be had for a second round. That was early speculation. And if Tunsil at 28 years old can be had for a second round, I think you do it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Or to Chad's point, yeah. I mean, if it costs you the 31, trade the 31.
I'm in for that.
But I think you're going to see some people who maybe 3 years ago would never look at Cincinnati as a destination, are all of a sudden scratching their head looking at Cincinnati like.
I think I asked you this question last week, but you may not have remembered it.
I'm not sure I answered it.
How do you feel about the information that came out that
with
Gronk wants to come to Cincinnati? If he continues to play, he would like to play with Joe. How do you feel about picking that up? I remember talking to somebody about this, and we said we don't use tight ends enough.
We don't, but I don't think we have receiving tight ends. CJ's had some fantastic games.
Yeah.
But if CJ's your best option at tight end for receiving, that's a tough pill to swallow. Like when you look at a Kittle, when you look at a Gronk, when you look at or at least what Gronk used to be, I don't know that he's quite there. I think you're going to have injury issues with him wherever he goes at this point, as his body has been up and down with retirement and all that. When you look at, I don't know, I mean, look around the league and who your top tight ends are. The dude from Oakland, Kelsey.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of dudes that can do things that our tight ends cannot.
Well, and that's what I think Chad says on here, that Gronk blocks his ass off, which would be
he does
be nice to have.
He does, and he
especially if we're trying to rebuild that O-line.
It's just different.
That was mine. Sorry.
So I don't know. I mean, we'll see. We'll see. I mean, I like the what's behind it is the fact that there's some dudes who have been dudes that want to be in Cincinnati, and that's
a Joe.
Crazy talk. Like we aren't used to this. We don't know what this feels like.
We have no idea what this feels like. I mean, the only time we felt anything close to this is when T.O. wanted to come to Cincinnati so he could play with Chad Johnson. And even that was, the last year of T.O. I'm not sure that we've got the best of T.O. that year. Even though his stats were better than Chad's that year.
Ohio 54, to answer your question, why is Houston trying to get rid of him? They're not trying to get rid of him. They paid a premium for him, as a matter of fact. Tunsil doesn't want to be there. And
a lot of people want to be in Houston right now.
No, I mean, what's their quarterback situation, first and foremost?
Who knows?
No one knows. So that's an issue.
Here's a question for you. This is a real hard hitter, and I need you to make the correct decision on this one. I have decided that I am going to get a Bengals jersey, and I want to get a Joe Burrow jersey.
Okay.
Do I go with the new stripes, or do I go with the Super Bowl?
The Super Bowl has the new stripes.
No, actually, the Super Bowl does not have stripes.
Is that all blacked out?
It's all blacked out. I have seen people get the new stripes and then sew a Super Bowl patch on.
If you can get the Super Bowl one on a sale or a clearance of some sort, then you go with that one. Otherwise,
like 140.
Otherwise, no, don't.
I've been leaning towards the new stripes.
Yeah, I mean,
there's just not any in stock right now, and I'm impatient.
Outside of that, Ed, what other places would you like to see the Bengals make some improvements on?
Right now, I am just stuck on the offensive line. Like I am just. I'm sorry. I just 7 sacks in a Super Bowl game.
Yeah, I would also like to see them make some improvements along the defensive line.
That'd be nice as well.
Corner.
Have so much money this year to use.
Corner.
Yeah, corner.
Do you follow Dave Simone?
Yeah.
Did you see
my wrestling buddies, remember?
Did you see what he posted today? Dave Simone from the BCJ pod. He posted his free agency take.
Okay. He gave a little bit of a take the other night, but yeah.
He wanted us to re-sign Brandon Allen, re-sign Riley Rife, re-sign Quentin Spain, re-sign BJ Hill, re-sign Jesse Bates, re-sign
What
Clark
did he say
Harris.
about Eli Apple?
Re-sign Clark Harris. He didn't say anything about Eli Apple. He wanted us to add Orlando Brown at tackle, add Laken Tomlinson at guard, add James Daniels at guard, add Carlton Davis at corner, add Patrick Peterson at corner, add Ryan Jensen at center. That's the big one I want. And add Akeem Hicks at defensive line. You do all those things, book it. Book it!
Yeah, but this is the hard thing about it, though. And
if you do that, though, you let Ogunjobi go.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Can we make it back to the Super Bowl next year?
Sure. You can make it back to the Super Bowl next year. Will they? I don't know. But can you? Yeah. You made it 2 or 3 years ahead of time.
That's the thing, yeah.
I don't know who Andrew Norwell is, if I'm being completely honest. Ohio 54. I will be doing some more research in the coming weeks as we get closer to free agency and finding out some more things. But
Aaron loves free agency on this show.
I do love free agency.
Free agency and draft.
Yep.
About as much as someone else loves the draft trade predictor for MLB.
Who? We don't talk about it. Not Clay. Well, Clay doesn't love the trade. He hates the trade predictor, or at least the trade predictors that are sent to him. Clay hates those. But yeah, if we can get out of lockout, we can get Clay back on here to talk about something worth a damn. I'm to the point where next week we may actually have Clay on to talk about the lockout and where we are with the lockout, because I miss Clay very much, and also I am over the lockout. Like, Figure your shit out, MLB. Figure your shit out.
Yeah. I'm gonna try to see Clay when I go down to Louisville for that soccer tournament. Andrew Noel, Cincinnati product, Anderson High School.
Okay, where is he playing right now?
Panthers. No, Jacksonville Jaguars.
I did see some trade projections today with Quentin Nelson from the Colts. I believe him to be an offensive lineman. I'm not sure guard or tackle. I know he's very good. That much I do know. But people were talking about trading at least 1 first round, if not 2 first rounds, and T. Higgins. And I'm like, come on, man. I don't know that there's an offensive lineman out there that I would do that for, because that hurts the productivity of Jamar Chase. That hurts the productivity of Joey Burrow.
Yeah.
If you're getting rid of a piece like T. Higgins, who
I don't like getting rid of T. Higgins. I don't like that thought at all.
When Jamar Chase is being double teamed, who catches the ball?
T. Higgins.
Correct.
I don't like that. Man, this guy's only 30 years old, born the same year. Yeah.
Norwell?
Yeah.
So, outside of that, I think we need to talk about something that happened nationally this week.
If we're going to talk about the handshake line, I'm not talking about it unless Jeff's here, because you've already attacked me on this.
I'm not going to attack you on it.
All right, go for it. All right, let's go. Let's try this. Chad, you stay off.
All right. So the handshake heard, the hand slap heard around the world.
The face slap heard around the world.
Goodness.
All right, so Juwan Howard tries to walk by, what's the coach's name again?
Guard, something like that.
Yeah, whatever. Tries to walk by him.
Wisconsin's coach.
After calling a timeout, after he called a timeout late in the
up 15
late in the game
with 15 seconds left.
Yeah. Tries to walk by him. Wisconsin's coach definitely tries to have a word with him after the game. And Juwan Howard didn't want to have that word. All of a sudden, they're pointing fingers, grabbing shirts, grabbing arms at each other. Juwan Howard pulls down his mask, which apparently is a automatic 1-game suspension. If you pull your mask down during a game, it's automatically a 1-game suspension.
Even though all the coaches have the masks, they're wearing chin diapers.
None of them wear their damn masks. They all sit right down here.
I was gonna say for those coaches still wearing masks at this point.
Yeah,
they're all chin diapers.
I don't think Wes wears one.
No, he doesn't.
He has it. Like, this is always the coaches during the game, like right there.
Because no one's gonna hear you with a piece of cloth in front of your face.
So some pushing and some shoving happens. Then the players come in to try to defend their coaches.
Vote would go to war.
Vote tweets that he'd go to war for his boys, but somehow ends up, without even trying, ends up from one side of the scrum to the other side of the scrum. Just gets pushed over there. I don't know how a 7-footer gets pushed.
He would go to war.
He would go to war. Well, send him over to Ukraine. No, don't do that. That was mean. But so now people are talking about, a fight prevails. ESPN better play this for the rest of the week. They better play it every time.
Wait,
Michigan plays Wisconsin.
I want to ask you the first thing I asked Chad, though. Why are so many people running out here with he punched him in the face?
We didn't punch him. He definitely smacked him and then put his fist together. I thought that was the weirdest move ever when I saw it. Like, it was definitely like a reach over. Like, he wanted to grab him by, who was it?
Grab his head.
There used to be a wrestler that would grab somebody by his face, and then instead of a choke slam, it was like a face slam. And he would face. I don't remember who it was, but it was more like that. Anyways, fight ensues. If you watch the alternative angle that Barstool tweeted, much better. There's just one player who, during the fight, he's like, I just want to sing varsity. I just want to sing varsity. Let's just go sing varsity. Security keeps stopping him. No, we're just gonna go sing varsity, guys. Weird. But so now we're talking about
which happened to be the same. Were they playing in Wisconsin or were they playing in Michigan?
Wisconsin.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Never mind then.
So now we're talking about there's some people talking about abolishing the handshake line. I was kind of on that boat until I heard Tom Izzo today, where Tom Izzo said, and I'm paraphrasing here, we've already told these boys that it's okay that if they don't want to go to class, they don't have to. If they don't like the way they're being coached, they can leave. We're already telling them all this, and now we're telling them that when they get smacked in the mouth, they're not allowed to give they don't have to give the other team respect.
Tom Izzo's an old head who's very mad about the new rules.
I agree with him.
He's very mad about the new rules. He doesn't like the transfer portal.
Okay.
Because what coach does?
No coaches do.
No.
Well, Wes Miller's going to love it this year, but a lot of other coaches are going to hate it.
Many coaches don't like the transfer portal.
Right. Wes Miller's going to love it.
Well, no, I take that back. Coaches like it when it works for them.
Oh, yeah.
Coaches hate it when it doesn't work for them.
Coaches like it when they get a good player in the transfer portal and their sponsors, they're a little bit of money that way.
NIL deals and what have you.
Yeah.
Sure.
Oh, hey, yeah. You want to go advertise for the Jeep dealership? Anyways, and I understand your point of view of this, and you can give it in just a second, but your point of view, what you're going to tell me is that, they don't do it in football and they don't do it in baseball. But here's the thing though, and I know this has happened a few times. When a team does get their butt handed to them in football and the players don't go show respect and handshake or whatever, which they don't have to because there's no handshake line. Right. They're also on different sides of the field. They usually do put that camera on that player and they usually say, hey, that guy didn't go show respect, especially if it's a big name player.
But that's because it's been ingrained. If it's taken away and you get rid of that,
why take it away?
Why keep doing something that's antiquated?
It's just because two grown-ass men couldn't keep their emotions in check that now we can't.
Why do we do it at the collegiate level and not at the NBA level? Because if LeBron James is done,
pretty much do.
Maybe sometimes if you're doing a jersey swap, but if you just want to go to the locker room, you go to the locker room and nobody says a word at the NBA level.
Did you know these players get charged for those jersey swaps?
I did not know that.
Yeah, Pat McAfee keeps bringing that up, that if he would do a jersey swap, Indy would have charged him for that jersey.
That's dumb.
Yeah. It's not like they don't have a whole bunch of them sitting in the back room somewhere.
I also can't imagine they actually wash those jerseys. I think it's because they can't
sell them.
There it is.
The Reds would be, the Reds grab those jerseys, authenticate them, and throw them up on the website for $400 right away.
At that point, I'm sure it's a drop in the bucket, if we're being honest. Because,
well, for them, yeah. Well, I mean, unless you got,
Pat McAfee's money is a little bit different than Peyton Manning's money.
His money is a little bit different.
But also the return would be different.
Yeah. But I don't, dude,
I don't know. I mean, again, like, it's antiquated. All things being simple, it's antiquated. Simply because, again, you don't have this happening at the NBA level. You don't do it in the NFL. You don't do it in college football even. Well, I mean, can you imagine lining up 100 players on one side?
No,
and you shouldn't with football
on each bench for
plus
basketball.
Just think about where your emotions are after you just went full warrior mode.
That's the other part I go back to. So I'm gonna tell the story again, and I know you love this story, and I know Clay loves this story.
You've not actually said this story on a podcast though, so please.
All right. So in high school, I went to go block a guy's shot, and both of our feet got tangled up in the air. And he fell to the ground. I didn't. I ran out to the other side of the court to play offense. And as I turned around, he was charging at me full bore, wraps his arms around me, tries to tackle me to the ground. And I took him and threw him to the ground, gave him the crotch chop, and then he got ejected from the game. It's the first thing I could think of doing. I didn't know what else to do. My emotions
Before you go
high.
any further in this story, let's go back to the Michigan-Wisconsin game.
This is why this story fits so well with that game.
And let's talk about the crotch chop.
The coach,
which again, we bring back Chris Vogt, so we're still being relevant with things Cincinnati. Who's the one there to be like, nah, coach, that ain't it. For the guy who wants to go to war for his boys.
It was great, I thought.
Pushes back the crotch chop. First off, do we need more crotch chops in college sports?
Yes.
All right, then you cannot tell me that we need more handshakes.
I can.
No. One of these things is not like the other.
One of these things is like the other.
No. You cannot encourage.
So here we are. Wisconsin's coach.
I just want to point out Chris Vogt is the only number you can see here.
Right here. Number 33. All upset because it's not 33 day.
Hit play.
All right. So he waves bye-bye, turns around, and then boom, hits him with a crotch chop. Wave bye-bye, says some shit, turns around, boom, hits him with a crotch chop. I love it.
Go to war for his boys.
Chris is all the way over here, though, and the fight's all the way over here. How does that work?
I can't.
And then this is the player right here who just wanted to sing varsity, I think.
I thought that was a coach. I couldn't tell. The haircuts are all the same.
Right. Yeah.
But Wisconsin is actually the reason. But go on. That you
all right. So then
you hit a kid in high school with a crotch.
So yeah, emotions get high. I don't know what to do with myself, right? Because I'm like this guy just tried to tackle me. Do you remember?
Bear in mind that this is the WWE Attitude Era, where D-Generation X, which is where you got the crotch chop from.
Well, yeah, I mean nobody's going to throw me 2 beers on the court so I can smash them together. And
I've never seen you do a crotch chop.
Oh man,
I certainly didn't go to that game. Clearly, if I did,
I didn't play for the high school team.
Oh, no.
Rec league.
I was going to say, yes, you did. You played.
No, I tried out for the high school team.
You never made it.
I got cut day 2. Actually,
I thought you made it.
Was that the coach Orth?
Tommy Orth, yeah.
Yeah, no, he asked me the first day of tryouts what the hell I was doing there. Mayhaw, what are you doing here? I'm here to try out, coach. All right.
I thought you made freshman.
Oh no, that was not me.
JV?
I was not.
No.
Not
none.
I didn't even make the bench.
I had no idea about this.
I got cut day 2.
I have a whole new level to make fun of you now when you ever talk about basketball.
That's fine. Anyways, in that game, after that happened, after I hit the guy with the crotch chop, he gets ejected. I get told not to do the crotch chop again. Okay. I go on and have actually a really good game. I had a couple threes in that game, which I'm not a 3-pointer. All right. I'm a power forward, but I shot him. I actually did the rain after I shot it. Anyways, after the game, we're doing the handshake line. Our tall guy, Chris, if you remember Chris from high school, he's behind me.
I don't remember anybody from your rec league team.
All right. So anyways, he's behind me. One of their players checks my shoulder and says, "You ever touch my boy like that again?" And something. I don't know. He says something, right? So I said some shit, probably some kind of D-Generation X shit. I just ran my mouth to him.
Color me shocked.
Chris is behind me though, and Chris is like, "Go get him. Go get him." So I ran after him. Threw a punch that did not connect, and then I got pulled out by my coach and sat in the hallway. And I got it suspended for a game. I wasn't even allowed. I wanted to come in with a suit on and just sit on the bench. I wasn't even allowed in. I sat in the parking lot in my truck, waiting for the game, thinking
about all the mistakes you made.
I mean,
yeah,
it's fine.
All right. So
So if we didn't have the handshake line, that wouldn't have happened, and I would have had a perfect game streak throughout my whole career at basketball. So that got ruined.
If you didn't have the handshake line.
I understand that. But
I want to take you back to Xavier Cincinnati.
We lost 3 listeners during that story.
I can't imagine why. Yeah. Where were you at right now?
Okay, so 7. But that was not that wasn't a handshake line.
Well, so you know this story. Mick Cronin.
You're talking about that story.
Okay. JP McCura. There's a handshake.
JP McCura should just keep his mouth shut and not tell people to fuck off.
And some things were said. I don't think he told him to fuck off.
What did he tell him to do?
Believe the rumor is he told him to suck his dick.
Oh, okay. We're live on Facebook. But that happens.
Said fuck off. Well, come on, man. Like how was that? Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying.
Yeah, well, we lost another.
That's why Mick was so mad.
Well, I would be mad about that. I would have definitely done a couple crotch chops at that.
But that's why there was altercation between.
Yeah, but this is the same thing.
Any JP McCurry, but you don't have that opportunity to tell a coach that if you're not in that line. Again,
but there's how many? No, that was too Holloway.
Regardless, there was a player. JP did tell him to fuck off. You're right. Apparently,
thank you.
It was 2 Holloways.
I listened to the nightcap last night. Anyways,
we didn't mention any names or players last night.
I know, but
you're welcome.
But if you how many handshake lines go down in a single day in college basketball?
When you're playing a physical game, it shouldn't be required. Like you really should just be like, both teams got to go. Like we got to go. I stand on this hill, man.
That's fine. And we can agree to disagree on this one
and we'll see where this goes because who knows where this goes from here.
This just really feels like we need to play this on a neutral court game.
Well,
scenario back in the crosstown shootout.
At the end of the day, if we're looking at the broad, if we're going bigger picture than just college basketball, and we're looking at all things right now, everything's so divisive that everybody feels that they have a voice that has to be said whenever you want to say it, the end. And I'm concerned when you're doing these types of lines that somebody feels like something has to be said just simply because they have a voice. And I don't know that this is going to go anywhere as we continue to get into an era of kids that have.
Okay, but let me bring this up. So this is where our coaches are supposed to be teaching the players to be men, right? So at what point do you tell your players you keep your mouth shut in the handshake line unless you're saying good game, whatever? Right?
Old man yelling at Cloud's gif is handshake line supporters. You can post that. You can put it on the.
That's fine. That's fine.
A good one.
That's fine. What was I going to say? Anyways, in the real world, if we're teaching these people to be men and prepare them for the real world and women, then you have to teach them that that's not. You just can't say what's on your mind. You just can't do it. I worked in customer service on phones for 10, 9,
so are we,
a lot of years.
Are we canceling Twitter?
It's a little bit different.
Is it?
But do you know how many people told me? Do you know how many people told me to go F myself on the phone? Do you know how many people told me that my mom was that I was a crack baby? Do you know how many people told me they were come do burnouts on my face with their motorcycle? Like a lot of people said they were going to come do this, but did I go tell them to F off on the phone? No, because that's my job. I can't tell somebody to F off on the phone. So
there's also a different expectation though. If you are a coach, like even if you're a coach at any level, where if you get into an actual altercation, first and foremost, we all know as a coach or a player for that matter, you're not going to have assault or battery charges more often than not. It's just going to be there was
he almost did,
unless you're using a helmet or something crazy like you're like just going fisticuffs, you know what I mean, like or taking a man's face and moving it with the palm of your hand.
If you remember, the Dillon Panthers bus did get pulled over after a fight, and the opposing. I'm just saying.
That's TV. Come on, man. Texas forever.
Texas forever.
But my point is, some of these things kind of come with expectations to where there's going to be altercations from time to time. It's not often, and it's not. That's inappropriate at this point in the conversation. You should have done that like 7 minutes ago.
Forgot it was there.
I hate you.
What were you gonna say?
I quit.
I think I won.
You don't win. It's the fact
that beers. No. I told him to stay out. I told him to stay off of this one.
Chad, is he coming in?
We did get I didn't feel like typing this out. We did get another referee incident tonight.
I did see that with our good friend Dan Hurley.
Dan Hurley was kicked out of the game for pumping up the crowd.
He got friend of Cincinnati, right? I mean, not necessarily friend of the Bearcats, but friend of Cincinnati.
Brendel, first off. And one of the biggest Cincinnati Bengals fans on the planet. If you think you're a big Bengals fan, you're not as big a Bengals fan as Dan Hurley. I can guarantee you that.
How's your voice?
It's okay. Like I just didn't want to take it from okay to like terrible.
Don't do too much.
Play this. He had just gotten a technical.
High five.
He does this. And then gets his second technical and is ejected. That's all he did. That's all he did.
That's weak.
He turned to the crowd and gave it one of these and got ejected. James Breeding. Remember me going off on James Breeding a couple weeks ago?
I
how
hate
terrible that guy is.
I hate Connecticut, and that's weak.
I love.
Didn't Connecticut just have a former player that was at the
James
game?
Bouknight this weekend was kicked out.
Yeah.
For I guess
he went into the student section.
Yeah, I guess he was like during a timeout, he was up and on his phone, like standing on the court.
Yeah.
And he got kicked out and just went to the student section and was like, fuck you.
I'm a big Dan Hurley fan, especially.
I
was a Dan Hurley fan before that.
All right.
But after that, I'm a big Dan Hurley fan.
I'm not a big Dan Hurley anything.
No?
I am the biggest Dan Hurley stan on the planet because I know him. Like I'm friends with him. And he is an awesome human. Awesome human.
He seems like
I won't take that away from him. It's the fact that he's a UConn guy that I just
Mike Rayfeld was a UConn guy. Did you hate Mike Rayfeld?
No,
when he went to work for Dan Hurley?
When he came back, everything changed.
And if anybody said they hated Mike Rayfeld, if Aaron said that, it had nothing to do with me. Mike, please do not come after me.
Anyway,
I'll point Aaron out.
On a
next
10,
time I see Mike, yeah.
Record that for me, please.
On a 10, I'm never with you in the basketball. Anyway,
never say never. You were in those picture. Like never say never.
On a 10 scale, when you have something to do with UConn, you lose 5 points automatic. So that's not on me.
I hate UConn, but I love Dan Hurley. Like that guy is good as it gets.
I liked Boatwright, and Boatwright lost 5 points because he had anything to do with UConn.
But yeah, he got kicked out literally for waving his arms to the crowd because technically by NCAA rules, you are not allowed to incite the crowd to be angry at the officials. And that's why James Breeding kicked him out. Fuck James Breeding. Sucks so bad.
That was the other thing that happened this weekend. Speaking of pump up the crowd, as they were playing "Pump It Up" in the arena, Bryce was standing in the aisleways doing the floss, and the camera wouldn't come up that way. It was during the dance cam.
That's not the dance. The dance for "Pump It Up" is "Pump It Up." You got to raise the roof. It's like a closed fist, raise the roof, like Ed's doing right now.
This was the GTA dance. The GTA.
I was gonna say
Gym Tan Laundry.
Gym Tan Laundry. Yeah.
But that was one hand. Pump it up as two hands. All right. Hats off to our friend Brady Collins.
Yes.
Who was part of making that a thing.
Also, kind enough to grace us with his presence last night. If you didn't hear the BBP,
we get so much. Like, it's amazing when you really look at how much content we get from people that matter. So many podcasts are just people that don't fucking matter. Like, we don't matter. We have guests that like matter, like regularly, and it blows my mind.
Yeah.
Something else I was gonna look up.
Ed, is there anything else you have on the handshakes? Because I believe I won that argument, but
You didn't win that argument. I did. But no, keep the handshakes and make them have humility.
It's antiquated. Yeah,
Let 13-year-olds continue handshake lines and
Sure.
let 21-year-olds just go back to the locker room.
Go be angry. Come back next week. Next game, whatever.
Agree to disagree.
That's fine. I don't want to touch on anything baseball until the lockout's over because
There's nothing to touch on.
Agreed. There were new hats.
I saw them at the Lid store yesterday before they were announced online. I do like them, but I was not going to give any money to the owners.
Did you see them in real life?
Yes, real life.
Okay,
I had one in my hand.
The trucker hat is for everyone.
Real life.
For
I don't
everyone.
remember it being a trucker hat though.
I was going to say it looks like a trucker hat mesh back, and you said it didn't look like a trucker hat.
No, it didn't look like a trucker hat in my hand.
Might have been a flex fit. Some of the flex fits look like
fit.
truckers because they've got the air, the breathable back. They just don't have the snap. They have the stretch.
I think it was a flex fit.
Well, they're selling them by the inch, so I don't know that that's the case. But in any way, do you have your minute ready?
Oh no, I don't. Crap. I mean,
Bum bum
Ed,
bum.
Ed, even if you watched WWE this week, there was a big. I did see on Raw. I did see that the Miz came out against having a conversation with Rey Mysterio, and Rey Mysterio Jr. said he had a tag team partner and ended up being, was it Jake Paul? Jake Paul. So is he a fighter now?
He's been a boxer for
just trying to make money, bro.
I'll tell you who I've become a huge fan of over the last week, and maybe it's just his personality. Maybe it's not his wrestling or anything, it's personality. But and I think I said this last week, but you don't remember. Pat McAfee had Brock Lesnar on. That guy is hilarious, and I'm a fan of his. Like, if he's in the ring and he acts the way that he did on the Pat McAfee show.
Let's put a little teaser out there. Chad,
yeah,
your stepbrother, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Is a wrestler.
Mm-hmm.
And at what level?
Indie level. Like, he does some TV shows. He's done some like dark matches with AEW.
Yeah, he was on AEW's YouTube show.
Yeah. So like the step below like TV level is what I would say.
So what I would say is reach out to him and find out what Tuesday he can make work, if any. And
okay,
if not,
oh yeah, I'll get him to make it work.
Well, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe he's wrestling on Tuesday nights. I don't know.
Usually weekends. Weekends.
Okay. And the guy who shotgunned, he made the shotgunning of Skyline a thing, and now everybody's
that was my stepbrother.
Everybody's like, "Oh, I'm going to shotgun a Skyline."
Yeah, then everybody started doing it. Yeah.
That was a thing that capitulated shortly thereafter.
The hell does that mean?
My stepbrother was the originator of this. That's correct.
Ed, just look up
Lord Crew. Lord Crew.
Capitulated.
Starting with a C. Jesus.
I'll take a C.
See what I'm dealing with?
Ed is smart.
Have smarts.
We have to wait for him to figure out how to go through the
So
Google ringer.
capitulated isn't coming up. It's capitulate.
I can't imagine you're spelling it right.
CA.
What's capitulate?
Cease to resist an opponent or an unwelcome demand. Surrender.
Past tense.
Oh, here's capitulated. Defer, relent, submit, succumb.
Yeah, the people followed in his tracks.
Why can't we just say people followed in his tracks?
So use one word to describe 4 words.
You writers.
I'm better with words than Aaron.
You writers.
I use the word.
I know, but I you realize newspapers write at a 5th grade level for Ed, right?
I don't read the newspaper, especially not the Cincinnati Enquirer.
Yeah, because they write at a level you're at a 3rd grade level. They write at a 5th.
All right.
Also, I was reading Captain Underpants to my son tonight. And I had this urge to get my Mankind biography book out and read that again.
All right, Ed.
You're really standing strong against this whole 3rd, 5th grade level.
Yeah,
right?
no one's surprised by any of that. Ed, do you have anything else for the people?
Do you have a bum of the week?
I mean, if we're gonna have a bum of the week, it's gonna be that ref for ejecting Dan Hurley.
James Breeding sucks. That guy's a fucking clown.
My bum of the week.
Aaron,
I've got a bum of the week.
How
play
well
the music, Ed. Play the bum of the week.
Oh, I don't have that loaded in here. You know, I don't have that loaded in here. How
one job.
We haven't done a bum of the week in months.
Always have it ready.
Oh, okay, well, I'll make sure it's in there for next week. How well do you know the people who sit to the left of you?
Me?
Yeah.
None.
At the games.
0.
Right.
I didn't like those people.
She's the bum of the week. There's people leaving with 10 seconds left in the game, and she's yelling at them, calling them all fair weather fans.
That's not the normal people that sit by me. I promise you that. Somebody else gave their tickets away. My bum of the week is Juwan Howard for not going closed fist and instead slapping.
That's fair. I gotta go with that one too.
I think he got more impact. Do you realize how big Juwan Howard's hand?
I mean,
is?
that's a big hand. I get that.
Yeah,
his hand is definitely bigger than mine.
Open hand is going to do a lot more surface damage than closed fist.
If you're going to get suspended for the rest of the year, though, go closed fist.
That's how I feel. Yeah. Get the big bang out of your
I guess that's where I'm at.
He's going to have to come in from a different angle. Like when you look at Yancey Gates and his closed fist, that was straight line jab. Juwan Howard was going to have to deliver an overhand, awkward cross with like 8 people in the way. I think open hand, Juwan Howard, 6'10", 270 pounds, is probably more effective than Juwan Howard closed fist over all those people.
I just think it's a bitch move for the NCAA to suspend him for an open hand slap. Like, I mean,
the Big Ten did it.
You should well, whoever did, you should suspend the coach for being a bitch and getting an open hand slap. Like, just sorry, like that's on you. But just it should have been, I don't know, the rest of the season, 5 games. Come on, man.
You want to hear my other bum of the week, Ed?
Yeah.
Aaron's current setup, because I feel like I constantly have to pee now.
Aaron, I did
because of the ambient noise.
Yeah, because of the fish tank. I feel like I've constantly got to take a piss.
You're welcome.
I did find video footage of us being some of the only people. What?
I do want to interrupt. We had a comment from T-Win. Nah, bitch, slapping is more punishing on the other guy's reputation.
Oh yeah, you got slapped.
What did
the 5 fingers say to the face?
I also want to bring this up because T-Win was one of the people from the subathon who came in my DMs to tell me all about the fact that I don't know anything about any of this. I need you to look into this so you can explain to me like a 5-year-old.
Is he the one that called me a boomer?
No. This is the one that told me like, yes, actually, yes.
Son of a bitch.
Yes, it was.
We need Chad to be less of a boomer? You son of a... I am a boomer. You son of a bitch.
Ed, I need to know more about what just this metadata and how this all works with this
Metaverse.
Social Blade. Google Social Blade, and you will be able to tell me something to do with like hashtags and something to do with how we can all ourselves
time out.
Chat as well.
This can't be good. I typed in Social Blade, and the first thing that came, hold on,
something to do with Social Blade, to where this is how we can
what
better.
Is Social Blade Eunice Anus?
Oh no!
See, T-Win's getting us into weird shit.
Let's see. Social Blade,
About
YouTube,
anuses
Twitch,
and-
Twitter, and Instagram statistics. Social Blade.
Yeah, I was what they were going for was basically telling me that we needed somebody to help us out with our social media. Download Social Blade on Chrome extensions. That's what they're telling us.
It's not going to make me less of a boomer.
No, but it's going to help us. It's going to help us with getting people with their timestamps, y'all.
Oh, we could see now that if people have. Oh,
see, Ed's got a social media boner apparently. So this is where we end it. For Ed Mayall, for Chad Brendel. I don't know that we're going anywhere further with this.
Hey, T-Win.
He mad.
No, that's not how we do it anymore, Chad. We do the crotch chop.
Oh no, I'm bringing back the
We bring back the crotch chop.
You just had a
the
beard.
Italian.
We had
a
this
beard
discussion.
itch. It's fine. You said that because you don't understand verification. That's so accurate.
No, I understand verification. I just don't want anything to do with it.
We're
I'm
working
okay with
on it.
Bearcat Journal getting verified.
Ohio
I don't want anything to
54.
do with it.
We're working on timestamps, y'all.
We are ranked 2,447,452nd in follower rankings.
You just downloaded Social Blade?
No, I just typed our name in on Twitter, and
We're figuring it out, T-Win. Thank you for bringing things into our world that we have no idea what we're
March
doing.
14th is when we created our profile.
Laugh out loud, Chad.
Yeah, I'm old as fuck. You're fucking right. I'm old as fuck. You're right. You're right.
T-Win's my new best friend. I love
Well, somebody also brought up, and Chad, you talked about it on the subathon. I am going to do a little bit of research on how to do a podcast in the metaverse because I feel like that would be fun.
That'd be hilarious. Yeah,
Can't
like
wait.
we could can we get a stage set up and do like a hosted podcast in the metaverse
I
where
think
people
we
come
can.
join and watch?
I think we can.
Can't
I
wait.
want to do that.
Yeah.
You let me know and I'll get my Oculus or whatever that I need.
All right. So for Chad Brendel, for Big 12 Ed, a.k.a. the self-proclaimed best producer in the city. Some of us have other ideas.
Fuck T-Win.
This was another episode of Pardon the Punctuation. Thank you
And at least
to
I didn't
all of
decide to hashtag subathon for my contest.
thank you to all of those who joined us, and we'll see you next week. Pardon the Punctuation. See ya.
Ba-da-ba-ba.